This is Far Cry 5. We're here on Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. We're taking a look at the quote-unquote next-gen version or update of the game. Or, well, really at this point, I guess you would say it's a current-gen version. So for the Series S side of things, we're getting 1080p at 60 FPS with HDR support. And this is a kind of a small bump up when it comes to this particular platform, but still a welcomed one because it does improve the experience, the quality of the world, and just like the scale of everything, which is really nice. So, I mean, obviously, we did have a bit of an improvement for the Series S prior, so just a small incremental resolution increase, but I think it does actually help quite a bit, just in making everything look a lot better. Like, in general, this looks a lot more clear. It was fairly blurry to me when we had last kind of visited this one on the Series S. So I think just clarity-wise and stuff like that, this is actually a pretty nice improvement for this particular offering on the platform. So, Far Cry 5, what is this game? It's an open-world game of shooting, destruction, mayhem, and chaos in the heartland of America, where you're fighting against a cult. There's New Game Plus, which is kind of a cool little thing if you want to jump in for another go. But, yeah, it's kind of got number of expansions, it's got like a multiplayer component, it's got two-player co-op. There's a lot to this game and a lot to enjoy. And for whatever reason, I'm assuming the store through microtransactions is attached to servers, and that's why it takes a second to load. But let's get a vehicle out and let's begin exploring and taking in the landscape. But yeah, having that frame rate, and I really do think like this update, while just a little bit of resolution, the clarity, I really can't stress enough just how much more clear it actually looks playing it on this platform now. It is a very nice improvement. So in general, this entry is really great because unlike Far Cry 6, you know, it's a little bit more condensed. Like, it's still got tons to do, there's still a lot of activities, but it doesn't feel like it goes on and on and on and on forever. But yeah, no, this is a very good offering within the Far Cry series. I think it might be perhaps my favorite entry. What are these guys doing? Oh, they're fighting a grizzly bear. Well, you don't see that every day driving down the street. No, you do not. So yeah, aside from, you know, your typical doing missions and fighting the cult and shooting things, there's like hunting stuff and fishing and, you know, side missions and loot stuff you can do, and there's always crazy experiences that go on in Far Cry as well. It's never a dull time. Oh, did you see that bit of that guy go flying? I feel like I should have gone out and helped these dudes fight this grizzly bear, but I'm kind of just wanting to take in the action. But yeah, it's kind of a very well done update and improvement to this game, just to kind of keep the quality going forward, you know, generational wise. It also seems like, you know, popping and whatnot's handled quite well, and, you know, in general the visuals and all that look pretty good. I cannot believe I actually got stuck. She's out of there, so I'm assuming, well, no, whoa. Maybe I could turn this around. Nah, it's looking like the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon mobile stuck in the water. I didn't really want to get kind of lost in here. Where did the giant grizzly bear go? Oh, it's down there. It's not really something you want to lose track of, is a giant grizzly bear. But yeah, this is a very nice looking sort of experience. Far Cry in general is fun. And I like this entry because it was a bit more... It was a bit of a different location. Like, usually when you think of Far Cry, it's very tropical scenarios, so it is kind of cool to have, like, some variation. I know the one prior to this was, like, you know, basically the mountainous, the Himalayan type thing. And, you know, they did have the spin-off where it was, like, a caveman or whatever. So, you know, Far Cry Primal. So that one was interesting. But it is nice to have the Heartland here, especially with 6 going back to that, like, a little bit more tropical type thing. But, yeah, no, it's kind of a fun experience, Far Cry. You can take, you know, the experience on foot. You can do so with driving vehicles. You can shoot stuff. There's usually a bit of gliding going on. There is a lot to do and a lot to experience within Far Cry. Where did that grizzly bear go? Again, losing the grizzly bear. not the best of things. Oh, and that is an enemy grizzly bear too. That's not even a friendly one. Huh. But yeah, it's a very large open world that you can take in. It's got tons of little trees and hidden little spots and outposts and hidden secrets and collectibles and side stories and adventures. Oh my god, is the bear gonna fight the ox? This is incredible. This is so entertaining. And like I was saying, you know, you could play cooperatively for 2 players and then... Oh no, he's running away, I guess. And, you know, there was online multiplayer, which I'm not too sure you'd be able to really find matches of these days. Maybe since it got an update, you might see that for a little bit. But, yeah, it was actually kind of a cool multiplayer where you were able to, you know, kind of compete in, like, some deathmatch type stuff. And it was backed by this really neat sort of option where you are able to use and download and play custom maps that other people create, similar to, like, Forge in Halo, if you're familiar with that. And I thought that was a really cool sort of thing, was seeing the Forge mode, you know, kind of present, and, you know, to me it offered a lot of extra value because it was basically like this, you know, custom-made thing, and people were making some really impressive stuff with it. I just don't know if it ever really quite took off like it almost should have, but it offered some really cool stuff and just a great way to expand the game a little bit further beyond that initial concept. And this grizzly bear, which I lost again, I don't know how it's so stealthy, it's just going on an absolute tear out here. Yeah, and then on top of that, they had some DLC, which was wild, where it went to like completely unique new areas, and that was kind of fun. Well, some of it was. I don't know if I like the Mars one that much, but, you know, there was expansion content too, and everything's all nice and upgraded and stuff like that, so... It's great to have it all present here. Is that grizzly bear still kind of roaming around? Sorry, I completely lost it. You know what I mean? Like, it was really entertaining to watch. I'm a little more scared than anything of the fact that I lost the location of a giant grizzly bear that was roaming about biting people's limbs off. That in itself is a bit of a terrifying concept that, like, literally it could be right around me at any point. It's also sort of funny that there is just a giant grizzly bear going about eating people in the forest, so... What a lovely situation that is. Alright, well, we lost the bear. So I guess we should go for a bit of a ride and go see what other kind of wild happenings we could have go on. But yeah, it's always a neat surprise to see these titles get this sort of upgrade. I will also mention that this is kind of like a 2-part game too. There is Far Cry New Dawn, so what typically happens is a Far Cry game releases, and then they do like a spin-off Far Cry using the same like world and everything to a degree. And so Far Cry New Dawn actually sort of extends and wraps up the story here. So I do recommend, you know, kind of, if you play this one and enjoy it, check out New Dawn. And I hope that New Dawn... I just drove right into that grenade, didn't I? I hope New Dawn gets a similar treatment to, you know, what we got here, because that would be great to have a story that's kind of like, you know, a full, cohesive 2-part narrative thing. You know, because it continues the whole cult scenario and that, and it was really quite surprising, actually, that they did that. But it was very cool to see. So yeah, I you know, kind of recommend kind of going for both of those at the same time. But as I was saying, I'm hoping that, you know, Ubisoft continues doing these sort of upgrades with their older existing library of titles. You know, I'd love to see Far Cry 4 given a bump up. Like I said, I'd love to see, you know, New Dawn get touched up just like this, because they are so similar technology-wise. You know what I mean? Like, they're very similar games, similar areas. Definitely a different, like, visual aesthetic, but it would be really cool to see everything kind of get, you know, kind of touched up. I think would be really nice to have. And it would be, like, a good legacy improvement. Just in general, every older game that we can get sort of improved is, you know, top-notch to me, obviously. Side mission. You know, we should go take part in that.
Getting this place back from the cult. Luckily, they didn't do too much damage to the farm. But they did kill a lot of livestock.
Skip.
Please, bring back our cows.
Let's go kill some cow punching. Oh.
This is our turf, thanks to you.
Return the cows to... Am I supposed to punch the cows? Into the place? Like with my fist? Or use rock? Huh. Never a dull adventure in this one. You guys are going the wrong way. Okay, we can't show that off too much. That was just a cow gracefully, you know, kind of resting on top of another cow, so, you know, just take that as you will. Take that as you will, guys. Nothing weird happened there. You idiots, you're... Oh. Does that count? Oh. Okay. A little destructive, but alright. Huh. Yeah. You, never know what's gonna happen in Far Cry. There's always something strange afoot when you go off and you adventure into the weird lands, around the area. So anyways, yeah, the main story follows you fighting against this, cult-like presence that's grown, the Seed family. You are sort of working with this group, you're trying to liberate the area. You do so whether you're on foot, in vehicles, plane, depending on the situation. You shoot a lot of enemies, you blast a lot of things, you kind of get the full context of the narrative and what's going on and everything like that. And, yeah, it's quite a cool thing. I really quite like this one. Like I said, I think it might be my favorite out of the Far Cries. Just because it's got such a cool sort of scenic setting. Yeah, and look again, you can kind of look at like the drawn distance and stuff like that on the Series S. It's actually really quite nice and very, very well done. I think they really actually nailed this update. And it's a little bit more, it's a lot better on the Series S than I was kind of expecting it to be honest. Because I just remember such horrific memories of doing like the FPS boost for like Series X and being like, the resolution drops terribly, and then that one's nice and upgraded now. And then I was like, you know, obviously the Series S would just be doing what the Series X was doing with the FPS sort of stuff resolution-wise. So, yeah, to come in here and see the nice little bump up and see it actually kind of improving the experience like this, that's... Is that guy burying the person? That's really, really cool. And you can obviously still tell little bits of pop in here or there, but I think that for the most part, since it's largely vehicular in regards to when that pops up, they really, really did a good job on this one. I am thoroughly impressed by the efforts here. Because Far Cry 5, again, being a favorite, it's nice to have an excuse to dive back into this one. You know, drive about, see things, explore stuff. I guess I should also mention there's the whole companion system, so you can call in like companions and that to come in and help you. And that's what I've kind of got going on here, is I've got, you know, this individual with me. And you can have, like, kind of side animal characters, too. So you can kind of go in and you can be like, oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, there's a photo mode. I did want to mention that. There's a photo mode. But character customization, which doesn't matter because it's first person. But yeah, you can have like a dog, Boomer, you could have like a cheeseburger grizzly bear, you could have this delightfully Peaches, you know, the feline powerhouse. They all do different stuff and have different traits and things, and yeah, there's a lot to enjoy in this one. It really is full scale. And like I said, it's not like Far Cry 6, which is the most Far-Crying Far Cry ever. This one actually has like a bit of a self-contained element to it, so it doesn't take like a bazillion years to, you know, to play. Like, you can actually finish the story off, get a good amount of gameplay on it, and if you want to, you know, go further and do more, you know, that's obviously up to you, and there's lots of, like, side kind of missions and activities that facilitate that kind of thing, where you go off and you, you know, venture around. Like I said, the hunting, you know, driving about, doing the missions. There's lots of like outposts you can kind of like reclaim or liberate. So those are kind of fun usually to dive into and see what those are all about. Okay. Thanks for disrupting what I was doing to, you know, tell me about these skill perk things that I don't really care about at the moment. It's always nice when a game interrupts me with giant overlays being like, hey, yo! But, yeah, kind of nice. It's also amazing that they kept like, this one was always cool to me because of the, like, the tree density, like the quantity of trees and the quantity of things. Like, it feels like a pretty deep, in-depth, full environment, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't really seem like anything is too, like, held back, and to get that at a relatively good quality where you don't notice a whole lot of things popping in along the way is actually kind of really intensive. So I do think this is a very, very nice improvement for the Series S. A situation where it's pumping or punching above its weight class, I don't know, but I think this is certainly an expected level. You know, for Series S, I'm very happy to see this kind of thing here. Okay, it looks like, what are those, like, vultures or turkeys that are kind of eating that dude? Guess it doesn't matter too much considering it seems like they're allies. You know, they're green, so they're on my team. I guess they're doing the good stuff. A massacre going on in this place. Not enough booms. I was hoping to come across like an outpost or something that I haven't taken yet or claimed, so that I can all be like, whoa, you know, intensive explosions and stuff like that. But it is a good game. It has a good story to it. It's a good enough story. I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, it's pretty basic, you know. Like, it is sort of like you do some stuff and then they kidnap you and that. So it's pretty bare bones. So you have to look a little deeper for the story. Home of Cheeseburger. You have to look a little deeper for the story elements. But when you do kind of come across the narrative bits, it is actually, you know, it's a neat setup, a neat concept. If anything, it's almost a little disappointing that we didn't, you know, kind of see it fleshed out a bit more, like the characters. Because I do feel like some of them were just sort of stuck in the situation and they had to just kind of deal with it, you know, within the family and stuff like that. Woo! Oh crap, I accidentally jumped off. Oh my god, that was really dumb of me. Good thing I have a teammate that can get me? Question mark. Where is she at? I thought she would be nearby. Does she not know how to climb fences? Is she coming? I think she can save me. I'm not too sure. Yeah, no, I think this is... There we go. Thanks. That's why you bring a companion with you. Yeah, that's why you bring a companion along, is for when you jump off the cliff like an idiot and don't enjoy your grappling scenario. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's also nice if you just want to take a good little woodland stroll into the open and see what the landscape has to offer for you. It's a good game. You know, there's a good amount of time to it. It was a great experience for me. You know, I go back quite a few years on this one, reviewing it ahead of launch, and then, you know, it's actually just crazy timeline-wise as you get older to think of certain things where it's like, you know, I checked this out at, like, I think it was PAX 17, PAX West 17, for, like, an early preview video-wise. You know, I got to do some early footage on it. And then, like, you know, the game released, and I reviewed it ahead of launch. And then, you know, it got various improvements and DLC that I covered and releases, and then Far Cry 6 came out, and now we're revisiting the game and, you know, taking a look at it way after, because it's like, what, the 5th anniversary or something like that? Like, that's wild to me that it's been, you know, that long, that much time has passed. Like, it's just absolutely kind of insane. And this game is dense. There's a lot in this. Like, it's actually such a big open world. There's so much crap to see. It's a lot faster when you're driving about or flying about, but obviously we're just kind of taking it in because I don't think we're in, you know, really a rush, just sort of showing it off and giving you some vibes for it. Remember when we, like, dealt with, like, a, you know, there was the giant bear eating people earlier? That was crazy. Yeah, it's probably like another stash. There's always, like, you know, hidden stuff to find and crap like that. Slightly charmed mode. Yeah, okay. Always some surprises. This is one of those prepper things. So there's, like, hidden secrets and stuff you can grab. Can I just jump up in there? Nah, it's always got to be some sort of extra work puzzle for you to solve in order to get some cool loot and stuff. You know how it is. It's Far Cry, am I right? How do you sneak up into this? Huh.